Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm very excited because I'm trying out a new Indonesian boot brand. This is the Indonesian boot brand known as TXTURE. I've seen a lot of my friends buying these boots. I've been following TXTURE for quite some time and I'm super stoked to finally have a pair from this Indonesian maker. They do such beautiful work. It's an understatement, and this pair in particular is extremely special, and you'll see why when I open them up. So first off, I really like the box. This TXTURE logo is beautiful. I love the design there. It's almost like a floral design, and as you can see, it's TXTURE, but they take the E out, so it's just TXTURE. Super clever. So these are extremely special. These are built in Horween's whiskey shell Cordovan, my first whiskey shell. I don't have to tell you, this is a rare leather. If you want something in this leather, like say from Alden or somebody, you're gonna wait a very long time. You gotta be on lists. You'll end up spending somewhere around probably $900 for them. It's a very frustrating process to get your hands on whiskey shell, but today I've got myself some whiskey shell boots. Look at those. Are they phenomenal or what? So TXTURE is definitely one of the more popular Indonesian makers. They've got 106,000 followers on Instagram. So they're very popular, and like I say, every Indonesian maker is just a little bit different, and from what I can tell, they're probably known for having basically a little bit more of a dressy look. Dressier lasts, very exacting work there. This model in particular, this is known as the Fes Boot, F-E-S. Exploring luxury with the beauty of an attractive composition, these Fes boots in shell Cordovan leather provide a remarkable design and captivating silhouette. Feel enlightenment and confidence in this pair of elegance. Available in our by request program. They do several different types of Fes boots. They're typically a two-tone boot, exploring every detail, touching every angle, digging through all the layers, and showing the unique composition of each shape. A repeating set that never fails to amaze us. Look closely and feel the artisan touches of our latest Fes Boots collection, made by hand in celebrating the tone of nature's authenticity. Comes with a lot of literature, including a certificate of authenticity. It also came with this boot bag, very, very cool. It's got their logo on it, all in yellow. The boot bag also has a really cool pull string here with a piece of edge tan leather at the tip of the pull string, so very nice touch. All right, so let's dig into the goodies. So this is MTO 1927421. So we've got a certificate of authenticity. Congratulations, it is our pleasure to welcome you to be a part of our family. This card is to certify that the product purchase is determined to be expertly handcrafted and an authentic TXTURE good. TXTURE, hard work, high standards for arranging beautiful symphonies, repeat and fade. Ritual strings with lasting and moderate beats. Arranging rhythms with dynamic tempo amid digital resonance tones. We play traditional instruments, experimental and exploratory. We are progressive instrumentals. With less than 20 skillful musicians under one roof, hundreds of steps taken for one product, we arranged the classical method in a modern siege, the symphony that we continue to sustain in the pursuit of excellence, redefining time-honored boot and shoe making. Imperfections may appear as if they would remind us about the emotions involved. Our products are personal. That's what makes them special. It's even got a certificate number for MTO 1927421. I got my own serial number. This also has the floral symbol on the back of the certificate of authenticity, so the aesthetic enthusiasts, fine quality materials, and craftsmanship. This certificate holder is very nice because it has a circular cutout to showcase that beautiful logo on there. Obviously, the unboxing process is an experience to behold. They even have a brochure that they include. Since 2009, TXTURE has remained faithful to exploring and deepening the spirit of making quality products, the exploration of beautiful materials, and the extraordinary transmission of knowledge enables the creation of useful and elegant objects that stand the test of time, forging the uniqueness of TXTURE. TXTURE is committed to maintaining its humanist value and providing innovative products while continuing to be socially responsible. The name TXTURE itself stands for Talented Extraordinary Culture. a word that carries our passion and idealism to explore further in manufacturing in all of our works. Our philosophy, heart to heart. Texture is taken from the word texture, which means a density between two components. These two components are material and craftsmanship. The texture logo is in the form of a rose, which means beauty and life. This logo is inspired by the city where texture was born in Bandung, Kota Kembang. This flower symbol leads texture to deliver its vision of a solid composition that will accompany anyone who wears it on the greatest adventures in a beautiful structure. Made by hand with every single detail noticed. Amidst the roar of the engine and the instant gratification of commercial consumption habits, we always offer you something different. The best ingredients, inheritance, skills, and traditional methods. The magical touch of our craftsmen makes our product enchanting. A process that proves everything you need. Made to last, made with passion. Texture is an attitude. From the unknown to being well known, came from a tiny place to explore the space. We arrange the harmony and you amplify to many. Wow. Their messaging is beyond top notch. A lot of what they include in their literature really harkens to, I really feel that in my spirit, you know what I mean? Like, as a lover of all things leather, lover of all things craftsmanship, that really strikes a chord with me in particular, because it's the passion that keeps driving us forward, and it's having these special pieces that really strikes a deep chord with me. Not to get too metaphysical or woo-woo about it, but I think what draws me to these types of things is something deeper than just the aesthetics. When somebody puts love and thought into every component of what they build, you feel it when you receive it, and these are just beaming with that energy of passion. It's definitely expressed in their literature as well. I like the way that they compare themselves to musicians, because that's kind of what it is. You know, it's an art. Crafting these things is an art, just like making and playing music is an art. It taps into creative energies and creative mastery. So let's talk about these boots. So these are in Horween's Whiskey Shell Cordovan. What's really cool about these, so this is going to be a Norwegian split toe model similar to the Alden tanker boot. So we've got a block heel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of veg tan in the heel, 2 layers of veg tan in the insole and midsole, and then we've got a Vibram commando sole for the outsole. This is going to be a hand-stitched mock. You can tell because this layer of the leather protrudes as opposed to just being stitched in like an Alden indie boot. What's also really cool about this is the split here in the leather. Normally, you don't get that split. All right, so for comparison purposes, these are my Alden tanker boots in navy chrome XL. I've had these since probably 2014. Very well-worn pair of boots. One of my favorites for a long time. And then here are my Grant Stone Ottawa boots in black chrome XL. Super duper nice pair of boots. So anyways, as you can see here, the split here on the Norwegian split toe, also known as NST, this piece of leather is all one piece. So this vamp is all one piece of leather. The vamp here is not comprised of 2 different pieces of leather. In a normal mock toe, like a Red Wing mock toe or something like that, this apron is a separate piece from the rest of the vamp. This is just a simply cosmetic. They stitch this in and it's hand stitched, and you can tell that because, again, you have this layer protruding out, as well as right here on the split. Same thing on the Grant Stones. In fact, I think they did a better job on the Grant Stones here. This layer protrudes out and it's very smooth compared to the Aldens. The Aldens have like sort of like the leather here, you could probably see it, it's sort of forming ripples, whereas the Grant Stones do not. The Grant Stones are just smooth throughout, as well as on the split toe here. But then when you look at the texture boots here at the split, so they split this leather right down the center. So instead of one piece protruding, you actually have 2 pieces of leather in there. You could see that. I'll show closer what I'm talking about. So I did get these secondhand, and I found out from texture that these are a size 43. It's a super cool, super refined look, I think. So these textures are in a size 43, and these Grant Stones are an 8.5. So yeah, the texture there. Now there is going to be more room in the vamp there on the textures. I want to say that's a structured toe, and so for that reason there might be a little bit of volume in there. I might have to throw in one of my very own custom insoles to make these fit way better. So there's a little bit of a size comparison for you there. The lasts are definitely going to fit different though. The textures are a lot more narrowed out in the toe, but like I said, with the raised walls in the vamp, that's going to add a lot more volume there. So that's the Grantstone Ottawa boot on the Leo Last TXTURE Fes boot. And here we go, Alden True Balance, right boot, Alden True Balance. The length looks to me to be pretty identical, and again, just a lot of volume on the inside of these. I tried them on once, I didn't walk around, but yeah, I could tell I'm gonna probably need to throw in an insole in there, a veg tan insole. All right, so a quick shameful plug for my website. So these are my very own insoles that I just started stamping out. I just got my Weaver Leather Mastercraft leather clicking press. It was not cheap, but using that thing, I'm able to stamp out all kinds of crazy projects. It's an 800-pound press, so it really stamps out these things nicely. I make these insoles out of really thick 9-ounce Wickett and Craig Latigo vegetable tan, natural vegetable tan, and I actually just added 2 new sizes because they do seem to run a little small. It depends on what boot you're using them in. For example, I thought I'd need a size 42 because I'm a size 9 Brannock. The 42s seem to fit like a size 42 dress shoe, but actually I'm finding that for my US boots in size like 8.5, I'm using the size 43s. And for example, I threw some of my insoles in these Red Wings here. The 44 fit best. These are Red Wings in a size 8.5 double E. These are from my buddy Mario, Boot Reaper on Instagram. He has a bigger foot than mine. He sent me these, and yeah, so the size 44s fit into this 8.5 double E. I've had a couple orders that needed to be exchanged because they were just too small. So I actually, on the website, I show the insoles next to a ruler so that you can get a really good accurate measure of the length and everything. I hope to one day just make it a small, medium, and large, but for now I just added a size 45 and 46. So I ordered the 2 larger size dies to be able to stamp out bigger ones. So if you're interested, they're available at dalesleatherworks.com. 40 bucks. You can get yourself a nice moisture wicking natural veg tan insole. So I'll be throwing some into these as well. And so just so that I don't confuse anybody with the sizing in this video, these are a size 43. That's large for me. Typically in EU sizes, I wear a size 42. I'm a 9 Brannock. I wear 8.5 in most boot brands. And anyways, I did get these secondhand, so I did not deliberately order these in a size 43. I did reach out to TXTURE to inquire about their scales that they use, because I know that every bootmaker uses a different sizing scale. For example, Santalum, typically I'm a European 42, but with Santalum, that equates to their size 41. And that's just because different makers use different scales for sizing. And so I reached out to TXTURE to inquire about their scale, because I do feel that these are about a half size large for me. Again, they fit really good with the insoles in them now. I do feel that my heel to ball alignment is pretty spot on. You can see when I flex my foot there. If I'm being honest, they're probably a half size large, but I am happy with the fit with the insoles. Next, I thought it'd be helpful to compare and talk about WHISKY Shell Cordovan. Now, Shell Cordovan needs no introduction if you've been following my channel for a while. I have a lot of videos on Shell. Shell is one of the most highly prized leathers in the world. It's no secret. These are my Mark Albert boots in WHISKY Shell Cordovan. This Shell Cordovan is from the Shinki Hikaku tannery. And compare that to the WHISKY Shell Fes boot. So these Mark Alberts are an 8.5 E. And these Fes boots are a size 43. Boom. What's cool about WHISKY is got a very yellow appearance as compared to natural, which is going to be like a pale skin appearance. This WHISKY has just a beautiful yellowed out look going on. The Shinki leather seems to be, it's very delicate. Don't get me wrong, it's durable, but what I mean is the finishing is delicate on the Shinki. I think they do a lot of vegetable tanning, and so they look very, very opulent when they're brand new, but then as they age, they really show their scratches, their abrasions. It's abrasions over time. I have not conditioned these at all. I actually really enjoy the patina that these have taken on, particularly on the back heel stay there. They look really good. Now the Horween is probably going to, my buddy Jake at Almost Vintage Style, he says that the Horween tannery is really good at achieving like earthier tones, whereas Shinki is better at achieving like really rich, vibrant tones. When I compare the shell between the two, yeah, it really looks to me like the Horween is a bit more glossy. It's probably going to retain its gloss a lot better than the Shinky. I'll do an update video as they break in. Horween is sort of prized in the world for their shell Cordovan, and for good reason. I think that you know, they've really earned a good reputation over the years. There are some subtle differences between Horween shell and Shinky shell. I also have a pair of Ricado shell on the way as well, so I'll be doing like shell Cordovan comparison videos, I'm sure, in the future as things develop. But yeah, this Horween shell, by my eye, yeah, it's really earned its reputation. So on the inside of the tongue, it's got a patch here. This patch says, "Steal the moment, winners don't play soft. Article MT204, code 55021, texture." It's also got a really nice looking padded insole on the inside there. So let's talk about the specs a little bit. So this Fes boot is just crazy. So it's got perforations along the eyelets. Some bootmakers stitch along the eyelets here, but they actually do a perforation here. It's really sharp looking. So we've got 4 eyelets, 3 speed hooks. These speed hooks are a little thin. I could tell they're probably comparable to the Alden's eyelets that could potentially bend and cinch down over time. So you just need to get like a, you know, a plier to undo that. That's no big deal though. Along the quarter here, we have a perforation that extends. This is something I haven't seen on any boot yet. This perforated line that's double stitched down along the quarter is super attractive. It also connects to the back heel stay here. Normally the back heel stay extends all the way to the top, but theirs actually ends like midway through the boot, which is a really cool stylish touch. Really unique design here. Something that I just have not seen done anywhere else. As far as the welt, so we've got a, oh, this is interesting. So it's 270 degree Norwegian chain stitch welted, but then it is 360 degree welted because it's got a single stitch along the back heel block here. That is also a very unique thing. You just don't see anywhere else. Not to mention, yeah, the welt stitching is both white and yellow. To me, it's like triple chain stitched. That is interesting. So yeah, in terms of the shell Cordovan comparison, like I said, I think the Shinky looks really good when it's like brand new. It's so opulent, so glossy, but then they really take on a nice patina over time. Whereas the Horween shell, it seems to almost, it starts out also pretty opulent, not as opulent as the Shinky, but then it seems to retain its look throughout its life, if that makes sense. Whereas the Shinky really breaks down and shows its patina a lot more. I don't want to say degrades, because that's not the right word, because it doesn't, shell doesn't really degrade. Like I can polish these up and restore them back to new. But yeah, point being is I think the Shinky really develops a dramatic patina very quickly, and so if you like patina, Shinky's probably a better bet than the Horween stuff. The Horween kind of looks perfect throughout its entire life, and that's just an example of the differences in the tanning methods involved. So one thing that's really cool is, I talked about the Aldens and the Grantstones, how they're the vamp is all one piece. On the textures is actually 2 separate pieces, I can tell. They stitched this apron onto the vamp. So this actually, it looks like an Alden Norwegian split toe, but this is unlike the Alden and unlike the Grantstone. This is actually 2 different pieces. This apron is a separate piece from the rest of the vamp here. So that's pretty cool as well. I can see just a little bit of separation here. So this TXTURE Fes boot, super duper unique. I've never had anything even approximating it. If you get some TXTURE boots, they'll be unlike anything you've ever collected before, I guarantee that. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. What do you think about these incredible whiskey shell Fes boots from TXTURE? I'm in love. I think they're phenomenal. I'll be doing update videos as they break in and as I beat the crap out of them. So anyways, you can follow me on Instagram. My username is AeroSurferLV. Also check out my website, dalesleatherworks.com. I sell kilties, I sell insoles, I sell cuffs. I also do custom bags. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see y'all in my next video.